with his own mental health disorders and his effort to find a life purpose, Rhaka Ghanisatria established Menjadi Manusia YouTube channel, which is a platform that seeks to provide a space for people to share their life stories or just listen to those of others.
Yes, now Rhaka is already here joining us, the co-founder of Menjadi Manusia. I've heard of this. Hello, Rhaka.
Hello, thank you for having
morning.
me.
Oh,
Thank you
good
for joining us.
morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It's
you
such a
so
pleasure
much.
to finally be here because I've heard of this website or the YouTube channel or the social media channel, either on Instagram, Menjadi Manusia, for the
Thank you.
past 4 years. And it's been making a positive impact for those who are listening to your content. So could you please tell us, what was the beginning of Menjadi Manusia? What prompted you to create this positive movement?
All right, so it all started actually in 2016 when the first time I was diagnosed that I have ADHD,
Right.
attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and this is a disorder that makes my brain works all the time and question a lot of things in life. Until one moment, I started to falling in love with illegal drugs back then, named tembakau gorilla.
Right.
As a person who loved to think, I'm getting addicted. Until one moment, I almost overdosed, and my family found me on the floor, unconscious, and they brought me to the mental hospital. I was hospitalized there for almost 2 weeks, and actually, there's the moment that changed my life. There is a certain moment where I'm always sleepwalking, and they tied me up in the bed with my legs and my hand, and for 2 hours I'm screaming. No one opened it. So after they opened it, I just sat on the floor and I questioned myself. Rhaka, what do you want to do with your life, with all of these things you have in life? What do you want to do? And then after I get out from the mental hospital, I started to finding the things that I want to do in my life, and I'm falling in love with content. I feel like I get a second chance from God, and I want to help people. That's the first thing that I have in mind. So yeah, how to help people with the content, and then there where I built Menjadi Manusia.
That's lovely.
So it actually could have been seen a little bit like a blessing in disguise then,
Yeah.
because in 2016, as you mentioned earlier, was the time when you did get diagnosed with ADHD, which is considerably later in life. Like nowadays, kids' behavior are very analyzed at an early age, but yours wasn't discovered till much later, which actually set you on this journey. So we've also been through 2.5 years, almost 3 years of a pandemic now.
Yep.
How important has Menjadi Manusia been? Because I'm sure there are more people now who need this more than ever, especially the last couple of years. And you started this a few years even before the pandemic.
Yep. When we first started, the aim is simple. I don't want people to feel lonely. I don't want people who are lonely as me, experiencing what I've been experiencing.
Right.
So by creating this platform, back then no one is aware about this mental health issues, but now in these past 4 years, I see the rising of the topics of discussion that where people having discussion about mental health issues, and that is the thing that I see. Okay, what are we going to do next? So in the past 4 years, we are trying to tell people that no, you are not alone. You are not the only one who has problems. To create a safe haven for people by having an event community. And after the pandemic, surprisingly, the research created by change.org show a numbers that 98% of Indonesian people are lonely.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's
So
very sad.
for us in Menjadi Manusia, pandemic is loneliness is also an epidemic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. I mean, especially for young people. And the thing that we don't realize is that digital technology, of course, is a wonderful thing. But at the same time, it can feel very isolating, especially for the young people. They interact so much digitally.
We're so used to being
Yeah.
connected all the time.
Connected, but not really connected.
Yes,
you
true,
know, it's
right.
like because it's such an interesting thing, isn't it?
It's not a real
connected-
human connection, right?
No, it's not a real human connection because, you know, like for example, social media now pretty much reduces even the term friends.
Yeah.
Right? Like on
Right.
Facebook, for example, friends, they're not friends. They're just probably an acquaintance or someone you met once.
When you added.
Exactly. But, you know, we need to change that again. And you also mentioned that there's this term healing which is a very beautiful word, in my opinion.
Very trendy these days, though.
Interesting you said that, though.
Right?
It's like it is also a very trendy word at the moment. So what is the perception of healing at the moment, and what is actually the real definition of healing?
Okay, for me, the first thing is mental health issue is not a trend. It's something serious. And then
Yes.
if we see the rising of these topics in the social media, where people can share anything, healing is actually losing its own meaning for me. Healing now is correlated with vacation, correlated to go to Bali. But for me myself, healing is something. It's like we're having a wound in our hand, in our knees, and we have to take care of that wound. For me, that one could be infected. You could be infected with that one, and then you have to take care of that one by go to professional. That is how what is healing for me. When you know that you are not good enough with your mental health, when you know that you are not well, you are not fine, you don't go to vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Right.
go to professional. You
Yes,
go-
that's the misunderstanding of it.
And if you don't take care of a wound, it can get significantly worse as well. And you have a very interesting tagline on Menjadi Manusia, which is we believe every soul has meaning, every story can save a life. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, in the journey of building Menjadi Manusia, I realized that the best thing to learn in life is by hearing people's perspective about life itself. So, what we are trying to do in Menjadi Manusia is just people sharing their stories, and then we show it in our YouTube channel, and then on a scalable things that happen through events, how could the story could listened by more people. So every story has a meaning, because when people sharing their story, well, maybe there is someone out there who are feeling the same with this person. So
Right.
when you are in the lowest point of your life and then hearing someone telling the same story with you, it's like an oasis in the desert. It's like something that, oh, I'm not the only one who feel alone.
Yeah.
They get validated. So yeah, and somehow your story could save people.
Right.
By you telling your stories, there is someone out there who feel help, who feel that, oh, I'm not lonely. So that's the meaning.
So you're actually connecting people, but for a good cause, because isolation is the thing that is the
It's
biggest
a
problem
killer,
right now.
man. It's a killer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you mentioned wounds, right? Like, I mean, if I have a wound on my hand, I'll feel the pain, or I'll look at it and I say, I have a wound and I need to take care of this.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a mental wound or internal wound, it's almost like you don't see it. And I think identifying it is one of the most difficult things. So what is your strategy to help those to identify that they even have this wound that they have to deal with to begin with?
Okay, so the first thing in the first years is awareness. The mental health awareness in this country is so little. There is not a lot of people who are aware about this mental health problem. So what we are trying to do is to get them the awareness that mental health issue is the same as important as physical health. Mental health is also something that you need to take care of. And then the second one is to encourage people to actually to speak up every time they have problem. The truth is, if they cannot handle their problem, we suggest them to go to professional. That you go to psychologists, you go to psychiatrists. You are in this country, you say that as a crazy person, but no, you're not a crazy person. You are a brave person if you are the one who are willingly to say that I'm not okay and I want to go to psychologists and psychiatrists.
Yeah.
What do you think of like sometimes, especially with the advent of social media, some people, when they have troubles or problems, they tend to just share it on social media.
Yep.
Is that something that is helpful or not so helpful? What's your opinion on this?
We're trying to do some research to our audience, and turns out it helps them. Why? Because they have no one to talk to. They have no one to rant to. They feel like if they are ranting on social media, they are losing some kind of the burden that they have.
Okay.
So the problem is, people when people have problem,
Yeah.
there is a stigma that when you talk about it, you are a weak one. You are a weak person. So instead of they talk to other people, they're ranting out to the social media.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
So
Gotcha.
that's what actually we are trying to do. How to connect one people to other people to talk about their problem.
So it's actually, in the end, it's creating some sort of a community, which is a healthier form, because when you vent, when you rant, yes, probably you do get a little bit of relief, but it still goes nowhere, right?
Yeah, and there's some blowback sometimes too. Like you rant on social media, it might be the wrong audience. It's not the people that
Yeah, and the
can actually
netizens
help you.
can be nasty, you know?
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're going off on one of your tangents again.
Yes.
So you mentioned stigma. How much has that stigma changed in recent years about us now seeking help, and it's okay? I had my wife during our second pregnancy. She did suffer, some sort
Postpartum?
of mood swing. No, it wasn't even postpartum. It was during the pregnancy.
Oh, it's during pregnancy.
Yeah, and she was having some pregnancy diabetes, but it did affect her mental health. And she went to and it took like a big step for her, because she thought to herself, like, do I really need to see a psychologist? But someone suggested it and said, you should really go see somebody. And I think that stigma has changed so much, because like you said, like back in the day, it's like, why do you need to go see somebody?
Are you crazy?
Not quote unquote crazy. Yeah, exactly. And that, how much has that changed?
I think in the past 4 years I'm building Menjadi Manusia, it changed from what is mental health and, I think I have mental health issues.
Right.
And the problem back then is no one aware about this, but for me now the problem is people are over aware, so they self-diagnose themselves.
It's true.
So that is also the things that Menjadi Manusia are trying to do. If you feel like you are not okay, Google couldn't diagnose you. So go to professional. So from how the issue rising in 2018, people are questioning, what is bipolar? What is ADHD? What is OCD? But now, I think I have OCD. I think I have bipolar.
Yes, very much so. A lot of people are
assuming.
People are self-diagnosing themselves. But it means for me, it's not a good one. But the issue have been well known by a lot of people. It's something that we are quite a bit happy for now.
Okay. We tend to swing from one way to another extreme very quick, don't we?
Exactly.
Like, suddenly everyone's very aware, and I hear the word mental health thrown around way too much these days.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know whether way too much is a good thing or not, but at least the awareness is there, right? What about meditation, Rhaka? I mean, meditation has been deemed by a lot of scientists, either social scientists or psychologists, as something that is actually very useful to moderate, our emotions, to understand our emotions. What do you think of that? And are you a practitioner as well?
For me, meditation is the things that keep me balanced. When there is so much thoughts, as I mentioned before, I have ADHD, my brains work all the time, question a lot about things. So meditation calm me down, make me more calm, make me more can see the things more clearly. So what happened with me is my brain is always full, and then I cannot see a bigger picture when my brain is full. But
I see.
So I cannot sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
so insomnia as well. then, I suppose.
Insomnia as well. But now I've every day before sleep I always do meditation to calm my brain, to calm myself, and to get a better sleep. And for me, it really works. It's really useful.
So what's your advice or tips, perhaps, for those who have heard about meditation but tend to sort of like, ooh, can I do it? I don't know where to start. And
That's me.
even when I start, it's like, I can't seem to...
I can't clear my head. That's my problem. I've always got that problem when I try to
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your advice?
My advice is now you can access meditation everywhere, even in your music platform, and it's like a medicine where I also go to the doctor. Sometimes you are not you don't match with the doctor, so you have to find other doctors that match with you.
Yeah.
So with that a lot of explorability content there, I think find the right one that suits you. And then the second one is have 10 to 15 minutes to actually listen it.
Oh,
and
You're talking about guided meditation.
guided meditation.
Guided meditation. It's the start, Paul. Guided
that would
meditation.
help.
start
That would
one.
be way more helpful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it actually tells me what to do as opposed to me.
Yes, exactly. And then eventually, when you've gotten used to it, you can
Right.
just use the timer.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a little bit more about Menjadi Manusia. It's not just a platform as a YouTube channel, but you did mention that you have meets and getting the community together. What sort of stuff do you guys do together?
Sorry?
What sort of activities do you guys do outside of the?
So actually, we are mentioning ourselves as a storytelling company to be the safe haven for those who need it.
Okay.
And the aim is actually to solve two problems. The first one is people are lonely.
Okay.
The second one is this country's lack of empathy. So how through people's stories we could have more empathy and people not feel alone. Through a lot of medium, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, through podcasts, Twitter, TikTok, and now we have been currently developing our own application. Hopefully, it could launch this year
your own app.
or next year. So yeah,
Okay.
we're still taking times to build it. So
Very
the next plan is how to connect people more deeply, not on just the surface.
Okay, that's good stuff. I mean, this is something that is going to be very helpful for many out there, especially those that have not identified, but just listen in anyway. It doesn't
Yeah.
hurt, right? To hear other
Yeah.
people's stories.
And it can be anonymous as well when you listen and nobody knows that you're listening, but you actually get that soothing effect because you know that another person or two or three other persons experience the same thing, and thus you feel less lonely. Because loneliness, seriously, it's a killer.
Yeah. You think you're okay because like, oh yeah, no, I can find
Yeah.
things to do, but then we
Yeah.
get stuck for 2 years doing nothing because of COVID, and it
Exactly.
really affects
Yeah.
you. So, real quick, what have you got planned for this coming year? The rest of
Yeah, because everything is popping up.
Yeah.
Events are
Yes.
popping up.
For the software, there will be an event, but for now, I think on how to keep the I think how to keep going as a media company and how to get more people know that they are not alone. That is still the things that we are trying to do with the various form. Again, I'm ADHD. Now my ADHD is how I use this to what kind of things I can do to help more
You're
people.
going to use it to be more productive.
Yeah.
Good for you. Rhaka, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your
Thank you
time.
so much
Really,
for having me.
really
Thank you,
great to
Rhaka.
have you, someone like you who's still so young and be able to create such a great platform for those that need it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
for
you,
having me.
Rhaka.
All right, guys, make sure you check it out. Find it on YouTube as well as Instagram, Menjadi Manusia. We're going to take another short break, right?
All right, we're going to take another short break, but after this, we're going to give you a recap of the stories from our previous segments, so stay with us.